everyone, and welcome to yet another player podcast series, player profile podcast. Our guest today is Flocutus or Flocutus, or however you want to pronounce it. Please, by all means, introduce
Well,
yourself and correct me on the pronunciation.
no, Flocutus is fine. It's like Star Trek nerd thing.
Hmm.
But we later shortened every nick, so my name now is my nick is Flock.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, in
Flock is
the
easy.
UT Bible, yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah, in the UT Bible it still says Flocutus, I think.
Hmm.
So we can go by Flocutus.
Okay. Well, I'll call you Flock just for the sake of keeping things brief. But yeah, so my
Yes.
guest today is Flocutus or Flock. And most people, at least in North America, will probably know you not for your competitive gameplay, which we will definitely get into, but for the creation of the UT Bible. Now, I have a little personal story to kick this thing off with. I started the game a bit later than I think other competitors did. I didn't really come to it until maybe 2000, end of 2001, beginning of 2002, kind of toward the end of the main competitive scene. And I played low grav instagib maps on giant bathrooms and things like that for the first year and a half, 2 years of the game, until one day someone came in and kicked our butts and he was using the amp and the minigun, and I was just like, wait, how does this work? What is this weapon? What's going on here? And he showed me what I called small maps, but what are actually just like the normal maps of the game. I had never played the campaign. I had never gone through the actual gameplay. So he played me for the first time on Codex, and he was like, oh, you know what you need to do? You need to go read the UT Bible, because that's how you will actually learn how to play this game. And I said, okay, great. And so I went and got the copy of the Bible, and I read every single line. I read everything about every weapon. I read all of the stats, everything. And I just absorbed as much as I possibly could. So from then on, that kind of kickstarted my foray into actual serious gameplay and competitive thinking and strategizing in the game. So I have to tip my proverbial hat to you, sir. Thank you for your efforts. They live on in ways that I'm sure you are unaware of even to this day. So,
Well, until 3 weeks ago, actually, I was unaware of it.
yeah.
I was okay. I wasn't only unaware that people still read the thing I wrote back in the day, that I'm probably not, I wouldn't like it right now because
Mm-hmm.
no, I mean, I'm proud of it, but like the style of writing and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm embarrassed about things I wrote last year.
Yeah,
I don't even want to go into
for
things I
sure.
wrote 25 years ago.
For
So,
sure, yeah.
but I also didn't know that Unreal Tournament is still played, to my
Mm.
embarrassment.
Yeah, well,
So, because 2 years ago, I heard that they shut off the last server.
mm-hmm.
So that like I had like a little tear in my eye when I read
Mm.
that, but
Yeah.
that's really bad marketing,
It's
to be honest.
horrible marketing. Not only that,
Yeah.
the real frustration. Okay, so you've already touched on a couple things I want to talk about. One,
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is to be embarrassed about something old that you have created and look back on and go, "Dear God, what was I thinking?" But I actually read through a bit of it earlier today in preparation, and you're mostly spot on pretty still, because most of what you cover are just facts and statistics about the actual mechanics of the game. So there's not a lot to get wrong there. There's a few things where I look at it and I'm kind of like, oh, the thinking has evolved a little bit here in terms of some of the areas where you talk about strategy. But, that was probably advanced for what was at the time the best strategy that you guys can think of. And as far as the game still being played today, really, weirdly, as many things nostalgic have been, we got a big resurgence thanks to COVID. COVID happened and people were locked
Hmm.
in. They had a lot of downtime, and they said, well, let's go back to, the things that I did in my downtime when I was young. And ever since then, we've seen a steady growth in gameplay in the North American scene, in the European scene. South America is very, very popular right now. They have a lot of very, very top tier competitive players. And it's crazy to think that this 25-year-old game is not necessarily at its peak, but it is climbing and it's growing in popularity. And the skill level of the players today is fantastic to watch, and it's really, really fun to play. And part of what kicked this podcast off is that we have new ping compensation tools that we're using that are far better than any previous attempts that we have made. And I say we very loosely, the community has made. And so the servers feel really good. They feel really smooth. People are able to play cross continent in a way that they never were before, and still have it feel very, very playable. Yeah, so it's bringing the kind of global scene together a little bit, so the game feels very alive these days. Um, that said,
Yeah, it's very different to
go ahead.
back then. I was only playing against Germans pretty much for the
Mm-hmm.
most time.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what you're talking about. Like it has evolved, and I'm glad to hear that the skill has evolved, because there's nothing as frustrating as like a declining skill
Mm-hmm.
thing, which was like back in the day. I'm sure there was like when the new Unreal tournaments came around. I'm sure that's something people experienced, right?
Yeah.
At least at that point in time. But not no idea. I never tried the other UTs. I only played the original one.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
mean,
this
I
is
tried them. I tried the other ones, but I never like it didn't stick.
okay. Yeah, for sure. And I think that a lot of people who watch this and who have a similar experience will have at least tried them to say, all right, new one's out, let me try it.
Yeah,
For
of
whatever
course you
reason,
would.
the mentality of the developers throughout the years had been to shift further and further away from certain mechanics, only to find themselves wanting to come back to them. But by that point in time, they had lost something about them that didn't feel very smooth anymore. And so, I don't know, it always just felt different. Every game just felt different. And so I think that's why there are certain kind of siloed audiences for each version of the game that swear that that version's the best one, but who knows? Uh, I do want to ask, though, since you brought up the subject of back in the day, that we'll start this thing the way we always do. What are some of your earliest memories of Unreal Tournament? How did you come to learn about the game?
Well, I played Unreal Tournament pretty much from the get-go, because actually, like my career in esports is even longer. Like I started with Quake, like actually the shareware of Quake 1, like in 1996.
Incredible.
So yeah, so I think there weren't many people that came over from Quake to Unreal tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I didn't know any, to be honest.
Mm.
But there must have been some. So I was actually like already like on a good level in Quake, and then I switched to Unreal Tournament, and that gave me like superpowers. Not in a way that I could like win every game or something like that,
Yeah.
but it was definitely like an advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first time I played UT, I already had like 3 or 4 years in Quake under my belt,
Mm.
and we were playing like the national championships against Schrödkommando, like my clan
Mm.
was. So I had like a quite an advantage, I have to say.
Yeah, for sure. I
But I
mean,
didn't, yeah.
go ahead.
But back in the day, everyone, so Quake 1 was like a little dying, or at least people got the feeling. That's what I meant, like the skill decline.
Mm.
Back in the day, it felt like everyone was leaving Commando after our final. They announced that they would switch to Quake 3. They would
Mm.
not play QuakeWorld anymore, Quake 1. So that was kind of a letdown. That was really like a bummer.
Yeah.
So everyone thought about switching games. And most people, when they thought about switching games, they thought about Quake 3, of course,
Mm-hmm.
which was the main game back in 99 that you would have to switch to. Like it was almost a given.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I went to Unreal Tournament. I always had like, I liked the underdog.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it was a good game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad game by any means. It wasn't as fast as Quake 3, but I wanted to try something different, I guess.
Yeah. I think and it's, I don't know if it's just momentum or if it is a marker of the quality of the game. Arguably, over the past 25 years, Quake 3 and Quake and its various successors have had much more success than the Unreal series has. Always had,
Yeah.
and I think that has always been a little bit of a chip on the shoulder of UT players because broadly speaking, if you get good at this game, I'm not saying it's a one-to-one transfer of skill, but you would probably be a lot better at either at jumping into Quake than an average beginner Quake player, just as you coming from Quake into UT had a bit of a leg up compared to people who were just beginning to play that game as well. Uh, what?
But that was mostly like a historical thing. Like nowadays, it would be very different, of course. I mean, back then, most players in Unreal Tournament actually started out in Unreal Tournament with the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were some people coming from Unreal, but it had such a bad netcode. There wasn't such a huge scene, and
Yeah.
they weren't like at the same skill level. It was also not as old as Quake. So coming from Quake, that was like a big advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I think the uh, desire for arena shooters in general is very perplexing to me because you look at other games, you look at battle royale style games where you go out and you collect a bunch of stuff and you have one or a handful of intense fights and then the round is over. But people who get out early in the battle royale rounds instantly leave, try to requeue and join another one. They're just looking to increase their playtime in the combat. They're trying to get faster and faster rounds of combat. And all battle royale games over the past, 7 to 10 years have been shifting more and more and more towards faster and faster gameplay. And I just kind of ask, what's the logical conclusion of this? Is that we go back to arena shooters where you have instantaneous action because everything else is just decoration. It's just set decoration. What you want is the combat. So get to the combat. But I don't know, I don't understand it. And maybe that's just my, approaching 40 mentality that I don't get the kids these days.
Yeah, I was really sad to learn about the decline of the arena shooter, and I only learned about that like 5 or 6 years ago, to be honest. I didn't follow gaming very much. Actually, I met Fragmaster, Frag
Yeah.
and he told me about it, and I was like completely surprised that why wouldn't people play arena shooters anymore? I
Yeah.
didn't even know the term arena shooter by that point, like Quake style games.
Yeah.
Because that's like the quintessence of like online gaming for me.
Right.
I mean, StarCraft was always around, but shooters are arena shooters. Okay, then Counter-Strike happened, and that wasn't true anymore. But for me,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. And I think that games closer to the Counter-Strike model, Valorant, things like that, they're at least in a similar vein. You know what I mean? Like there is an immediate kind of intention and action that you're focusing on achieving. And I'll even give a credit to things like Team Fortress 2, and then Overwatch and other games similar to that, where you've got a team-based mechanic and you're going towards it. But again, the action's very immediate. The weapons are immediate. Everything is much faster paced. It's the huge wave of battle royale style games that I just don't understand. It's why would I want to waste 25-30 minutes gathering weapons to have one fight? Like that seems so boring to me. But again, that's just my mentality.
Yeah, I also don't like the downtime, like waiting for you to respawn. Like instant respawn is the way to go, if you ask me. But just, I mean, all the people starting with Counter-Strike, they never know everything else. I can't blame them. It's just with the first game you grow up with, that probably like puts you in the head, in the frame of mind.
Yeah, I guess.
But I can't talk about newer games at all. I haven't played them. I don't want to.
For sure. At the end of the day,
I can
we're
only
all just
talk about
creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the early days of Unreal Tournament.
Let's go back to the early days of Unreal Tournament. We talked about your first memories, and you did mention a little bit that you felt like you had a competitive edge coming from Quake into UT. When did you really start to notice, I'm pretty good at this? I'm not the greatest, but I'm pretty good. What was that feeling like for you?
I mean, in the early days, there weren't really a lot of tournaments or anything. I'm talking like 99 when the game came out, or 2000 even. But sooner or later, there was like a very competitive game in Germany. And I can only talk about Germany, really. Back then, the pings were so horrible. Even like playing someone in France or in Italy or in Scandinavia. Scandinavia was always a hot pot for shooters. That we only played with each other, and we didn't really need anyone else also because there were a lot of good German players back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Gits, of course, or Frag or a lot of my clanmates, of course, but also our like nemesis, our competitors from Model Teamwork. They were really good too. Like Ullard or Ecstasy, Horny or Crush. They were really good players, and we met online, of course, but we also met on LANs, like in person. So that was like we knew each other. It was a
Yeah.
good familiar feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, we played against each other and got better. And I really had an edge, but people, most other players were younger. And so I lost the edge over time. And then I had to give it to Gits, of course,
Yeah.
who bet me at World Cyber Games too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you
And won
brought it
the whole
up.
thing. Not,
I'm gonna say you brought it up. Let's talk about it. Let's step through your whole WCG life. Walk me through the whole story, beginning to end. I want to know every little nook and cranny. Give me the details.
well, the World Cyber Games in 2001. So there was a World Cyber Games in 2000, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
but it only included Unreal Tournament as like this test run or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
was. I think there were only like 4 players or something. They
Yeah.
wanted to see if spectators liked it or something like that. But then in 2001 was announced, and Unreal Tournament still didn't get like the full status. It got like, I don't know, they had to add some extra word, I don't even remember. So to make it not as official as the other games. Just stupid.
Yeah.
But it did get qualifiers in many countries. I think like many countries, like
Mhm.
European countries, but also America, Canada,
Mhm.
US and Canada, but also China, Korea. It was awesome. It was like the best thing that happened to UT until that time.
Yeah.
Like the competitive. It was only dual, of course,
Mhm.
but that was also where most of the players were at, so that was okay.
Yeah.
But because it was very early in Unreal Tournament in years still, of course, players like you or many players couldn't compete yet because
Right.
many players were still like early on. But
Mhm.
for the competitive scene in Germany, that was like that was our thing. Like, and we all went to the or everyone I know who was a good player went to the the qualifier in Germany, and that was like a real event, like on a LAN,
Mhm.
and like people like Ulat and Fragam and
Yeah.
Gits and me and of course Crush.
Mhm.
And then when all was said and done, well, I won the qualifier actually. Gits finished third and Crush finished second.
Okay,
So
cool.
we all three of us went to the World Cyber Games. So
Just
we were off to Korea.
for my memory's sake, I'm sorry. Where the event actually held in Germany?
I don't remember, to be
Oh, okay.
honest.
Okay, I didn't know.
It was
Yeah,
somewhere central, I think,
okay.
but I don't remember. That is
Was
too
it
specific.
was it the first like major land that you had traveled to?
No, 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 no. We were
Okay.
on lands all the fucking time. And
Okay.
we even had like, so I was playing for Shuk,
Uh-huh.
which was a
Yeah, yeah.
major clan back then. And we even had like our own little lands to practice and stuff like that. We were really into it. Like this was our thing. We didn't
Yeah, for
do
sure.
much else, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's the 90s in Germany. What else you got to do? uh,
I mean, you could focus on your studies, or later I was in the army actually and didn't have so much time.
mhm.
But that doesn't matter. But we went to a lot of LANs and played each other
Yeah, it's
like all the time, it seemed,
I
in
it
my
makes
memory.
perfect sense to me now why historically looking back, everybody always considered the Germans to be the top competitors. Not only did you have good players, but because you had such organized structure around your practice time that you went and you practiced on LAN environments and you played against each other regularly, that when it came time to do that at a much larger scale competitive environment, you were already used to how it felt. You were already used to the experience of it. Whereas I think a lot of people were probably coming to these major events not ever having played on LAN before or not ever having been in that kind of pressure cooker before. But if you guys are practicing like that all the time, yeah, of course it makes sense that you did well. And that probably, helped foster the reputation as the Germans of like, oh, they're so good. Well, yeah, they're good, but they've also have a lot of experience, which gives them more calmness in their nerves. Yeah.
I mean, I was later I moved together actually with a teammate.
Hmm.
So we were roommates.
Yeah.
Isho, I don't think he's known anymore, but we played. And Pretzel, he was also in Shuk. He was in the same house. So we played together all the fucking time. Yes, we had, but it wasn't like it was more like we were still like playing for fun, you know. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like today where you have like an esports team being forced to be
Yeah,
together pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah,
No, we wanted this. Like we sought it out. We did it as often as we could.
yeah.
And Frag M and Gits, they weren't too far away, so we were all in the same region of Germany. Even like in the smaller region of Germany, we were close to each other, so it was easy for us.
Yeah, that's great. Uh, if I would remind you to remind them, you learned yourself recently that the game is still up and running. Shoot them all a message.
Yeah.
Invite everybody back. We're still playing this game, and it will be very exciting to get a lot of these old names back in,
Hmm.
even if it's just for a weekend or two here and there. The European scene is pretty active still. North American scene's very active, and South America is going crazy right now. They have a lot of players. But yeah,
Well, I've learned some things.
yeah, yeah.
Many people moved on, but also it would take a real effort for someone like me to come back into Unreal Tournament, and I'm not sure many people are willing to do that.
You,
At least from what I expect.
I think you sell yourself short. It's like riding a bike. You'll install the game, you'll fire it up, hop
Okay.
into a server, and it'll all
Yeah,
come
you just
flooding
want me
back to you.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what can
yeah.
I say?
Let's
Uh,
see. Let's see. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah. We'll get you one game. We'll get you one game. All right. So you've won your qualifier. You're on your way to Korea. Pick up from there. What? Give me the story.
Well, so the three of us went.
Mm-hmm.
From many other European countries, from the US, from Canada, people came. It was really this big get together, the first time, really, I think, in Unreal Tournament's history, where a lot of the top players were united to play this tournament. And we were there for a whole week in Seoul, Korea,
Mm-hmm.
all expenses paid in a hotel, flown over by Samsung sponsored the whole thing. So it was, in this way, it was very professional.
Yeah.
The the actual tournament stuff, unfortunately, wasn't. For example, so my biggest pet peeve at the time was, of course, we played with shield belt on in
Mm-hmm.
Germany or in Europe. Actually, everyone did. In the US, actually, people didn't. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it was like a historical fluke. People didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
We eventually
so
came
let's say
to do
80.
it the right way. We have belts on now. I just want to clarify. We
Yeah, I heard
if
about that, and
yeah.
I'm so glad. I don't understand why you would disable the strongest armor in a
Yeah.
game that has such strong weapons.
Yeah.
Like some of the weapons can kill you instantly, or they do if you fresh respawn.
Mm-hmm.
You don't disable armors. You actually need a stronger armor bully now. I expect.
Well,
Anyways,
yeah,
so
continue.
I actually did like a petition. I tried to get all the players together to petition to change the rules. They ignored us. Like I got like 80% of the players to say they want shield on. They ignored us. This kind of
Mm,
thing. And then it was like a double elimination, which was great. But I think it was really only one map played per game. We had a whole week. We should have done better. But I
mm,
don't want to like dwell too much on the bad parts. It was a really
yeah.
great tournament. It was so great. We all came together, and I don't think it ever happened again in this great way as it did in 2001.
Yeah.
So seeing, I mean, I conversed with people online, like just for the petition, I had to, and like seeing people from Italy that I knew from online, seeing people from all over the world, seeing the US guys too, like
Mm-hmm.
Access Pain came. I had quarrels with him before because he didn't like the shield thing. That was really my big thing back then, excuse me.
It's
But you
fine.
maybe understand why would you disable shield, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so we started playing, and I don't want to bore you, but
It's not boring at all. I love it.
sooner or later, well, I got kicked out of the out of the upper bracket, you call it, by a Korean player,
Mm-hmm.
unknown, completely unknown. There was a little bit of a shitty thing, like we had to restart the map when I was four frags ahead. But then he played a really good game and he beat me fair and square, so it was my problem for not challenging that restart. Anyway, he had a really good minigun. He was probably also playing on LAN mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had the best minigun I've ever seen. Like I've never seen the minigun used in that way. But it was also a really small map, a map we usually don't play. Anyway, I got kicked out. Gits, my teammate, he
Mm-hmm.
also got kicked out by another Korean player, also completely unheard of. he was very nervous in that game, and
Yeah.
I think he should have won, but he lost. So in the end, we had to face each other in the lower bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Like only one of us could continue. Like out of all the players that came to the event, I don't even know how many there were. We had to face each other,
Yeah.
man. Our my clanmate.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
Well,
but it was like a banger of a game.
I
Okay.
bet. Yeah, I think I've actually gone back and watched almost all of the ones that there are demos of. I haven't watched them recently, but at some point in time, I was like, I want to kind of go back and watch some of these. And I definitely remember thinking at the time when I had watched the demos, how different the gameplay felt to even what it was at the time when I was watching it. And this is probably 10 years ago. And I remember thinking
Hmm.
how much reliance there was on the minigun and other tracking weapons. And I think that
Hmm.
was a reflection of the hardware at the time. I think if you're using a ball mouse, and I think
Yeah.
if or even if you're one of the rare people who was using a trackball rather than a ball mouse, the smoothness that you get with one of those devices is best applied towards something like tracking an object around the screen. But fast flick shots don't do as well with that type of setup, in my opinion. And I think that that is part of the reason why those things were as good as they were at the time. But as frame rates get better and mouse sensitivity gets better and accuracy gets better, I think flick shots start to take over and hit scan starts to become the more dominant play style. Um,
Yeah, but minigun is hit scan, wouldn't you agree? Or
no,
plasma,
in my
rather.
opinion, no. I would call a
Oh,
tracking.
you're talking about
Yeah,
sniper and
yeah. So
okay.
so sniper and shock primary and enforcer for that
Mhm.
matter as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
those weapons are your hit scan where you're doesn't matter how far you are, just point click, and if you hit them, you hit them. And I think
Hmm.
that that really works well in a
Hmm.
more modern kind of game environment with the hardware and internet that we have today. I did
Yeah,
want to ask
I
though.
saw some
Uh,
new games on YouTube recently, like
mm-hmm,
when I found out UT still played,
mm-hmm,
and I was very surprised about the amount of enforcer use.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We didn't do that back then at all. The enforcer was supposed to be this useless weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so I
that
agree. Yes.
I think that's also a reflection of the impatience of game players now as opposed to then. I think the competitive game style has shifted so much because in the early days of competitive UT, there was a lot more patience in the moves that you made, the thought process that went into where you were going, the positions that you held, that kind of stuff. Now, and I think North America is partly to blame for this, but I think that now there's so much frantic go 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 that just use the weapon you have. You have an enforcer, and if you get good at using it, it's actually surprisingly powerful. We've had to nerf it a few times in the North American scene, down from
Oh, that's
25.
good.
Yeah, we've nerfed it from 25 damage down to 18 damage right now. Um,
Did you ever nerf the sniper rifle?
yeah, we've nerfed sniper a little
Oh,
bit, and people are claiming that it needs to be nerfed even further. That's a possibility, you know. Like we're in a bit of a tuning phase right now. A lot of people are kind of going, all right, we do need to make some adjustments to this game and some adjustments to the weapons and that kind of stuff. I did want to
that's
ask
fucking
though.
awesome that you do
Yeah.
this kind of thing
Oh yeah,
because
we're not giving up, right? We love this game. We're not going anywhere. So let's make it what we want it to be.
hmm,
I did want to ask though before we get too far off the subject. You mentioned that these Korean players were, in your words, unknowns or coming out of nowhere. It was unheard of that they would beat these German
yeah.
players. How wonderful a surprise, first of all, that there were players out there that you
Yeah.
had no clue about who were as good as you were, if not better. Were there any other standouts in that way that like pleasant surprises from those days that you can remember going, wow, I never would have expected that. What a fun memory.
I have to say a lot of it is very murky, and I only remember like the high points.
Uh-huh.
I can't say I could
Was there,
remember any
let me,
player
that's
that
that's
stood
okay.
out.
That's okay. Let me rephrase the question this way. Is there any one player that you can think of that completely went above and beyond your expectations? Like you knew that they were good, but you didn't expect them to be that good or anything like that.
Yeah, well, the obvious, yeah, Gits, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because back then, I mean, Gits was always a very good player, but he wasn't like better than me, for example. I
Mm.
mean, in most of the games we played, I mean, I expected to beat Gits.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to the World Cyber Games, we played we played like one map, as I said, and it was like all or nothing. Like one of us had to, well, be out after the round. And incre incredibly, I was leading like 10 frags, 10 to 0. Can you, I mean, against Gits.
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I was overconfident, to be honest.
Yeah. Comeback of
Um,
the century.
yeah. So I had full stack and everything. He was just hiding somewhere in a very close space. Anyway, I went there. He shot the fully loaded bio rifle at me, killed me. That
And
was
that's
it.
it. That's
I
it.
was
That's all you need.
out.
That's all you need. There's a few people in the North American scene who get frustrated with me because I don't choose to use the bio gun regularly for my own pleasure, but when I do use it, I like to use it, and I feel like I put practice into using it that a lot of people don't put practice into using it, so I get very frustrating but very satisfying for me goo kills on
No,
people. It's a great weapon.
I like that
It's
it
a great
exists.
weapon.
No, it's awesome that something like that is possible, because otherwise, I mean, it's fucking boring if someone just runs all the items and gets all the kills. And no, he made a very good comeback with that. And then he actually, I still had a 10 frag lead in a game that I don't think it went more than 10 minutes, right? At that point in time. So I should have easily won, right? Just play it lame somewhere, hide somewhere. But I think I tried to get back into the game, and he fucking bet me just like that.
Yeah.
And I think he won by a 1 frag lead in the end. I don't remember the details, but something like that.
Brutal.
It was devastating for me. Of course, it was great for Gits.
Yeah.
He went on to actually win the whole thing. So congrats to him. It was really, I don't think I could have performed as well as him in the final. The final game was awesome. I watched it from like behind him. He did a very good job in the finals.
Yeah.
And before that too. I mean, he had to come back from the lower bracket to win the whole thing. So I'm not disappointed at all. In the back then, I was devastated, but right now I'm all for it. And he went on to win the next one also.
Yeah,
I don't think I could have done that.
Absolutely remembered as a legend for sure. And
okay,
it's one of those things that, you know, it's little decisions here and there. You don't really think about the bigger ramifications of how they will play out over the course of many, many years. You know, had things gone differently in that game and you did decide to, you know, lame duck somewhere, hide in a corner, or feign death, you know, 2 to 3 minutes and then go hide somewhere else for 2 to 3 minutes, you know, if that had been the gameplay, maybe you would be in that situation. It's a very different world, you know. I do want to
but I
ask,
don't think I could have performed after as well.
Yeah.
Especially the second time around. He just, I think he had some problems also, but he won it again.
Yeah, for sure.
The second time around is a little sad because they didn't have the qualifiers anymore. I would have liked to play again.
Yeah.
But back then, there were better players, of course. I lost my edge really quick.
How long after the first WCG that you played in, how long after did you continue to play the game? Or when did you decide, okay, I think I've had my fill and I'm ready to move on?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think I only stopped when the next UT came out, and it wasn't for me.
Okay, so 2003.
In 2003.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you have mentioned before we kind of got started with the recording that you haven't played many of the games. Did you play anything else? I know you said you tried the different UT games, but did you give up on gaming entirely, or did you just kind of it took less and less of a role in your life until it faded away?
No, I actually had I had to have some time for actually studying at university.
Oh, yeah, that old
I don't
thing.
think I could have. Yeah. I don't think I could have finished my diploma with Untitled Tournament or any other game in the back.
Yeah.
Like I watched like my roommate. He continued to be my roommate, Icho. He continued to play UT, the next UT, and he played pretty much every day. I watched him play. I don't think it was good for his studies. It doesn't matter. He finished after all. But I was off to other things, I guess. But that wasn't the fault of UT or anything.
No,
it was the fault of UT 2003. I didn't like it much.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, do you think that if you had liked it as much as you liked UT, that you would have continued playing, or did you feel?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay, it's like
you have a couple of years in you usually, and that was that was my time.
Yeah, I get the
I
impression
played
from
Quake competitively too.
yeah. I was gonna say I
I
get the
actually never
impression.
stopped playing Quake
Oh, so do you
competitively.
still
Like,
play Quake today?
no. I mean, back in the day, like in
Oh,
two,
okay.
but while playing for the World Cyber Games, I also played still in the Imperial Bounty Hunters clan in Quake. But
Mm.
people don't want to hear about that, I think. Actually, Quake is still alive, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Quake 1.
yeah,
Yeah, I recently in Corona started playing it again.
yeah. I think that there is, surprisingly, for almost any game out there, there's still some audience for it. There's still some group out there that was like, no,
Mm.
we've hit our pinnacle. This is what gaming means. Everybody's
Yeah.
wrong, and this is the way to go forward. The way, the truth, and the light. Uh,
But Quake 1 had a really good advantage because which is called Quake 2.
mhm,
No one liked it. No
mhm.
one moved on to Quake 2. None of the good players. So that gave us some extra time until Quake 3 to figure out that Quake 1 is actually a pretty good game.
Yeah,
And some people stuck around, and I'm glad they did because I enjoy playing it now.
yeah.
But
Uh, did you let's say let's step away from competitive gaming, right? We're stepping away from the idea that you have to sink all of your time into this, retreating to casual gaming as you have gotten older, as you have moved on in your life. Do you still play games at all, or is it something that you still enjoy doing casually, or is it just something that you look back on and go, yeah, that was a part of my life, but it isn't anymore?
no, it wasn't a part of my life for like 15 years. But as I said, during Corona, I was bored. Many people were bored. That's what you said. The
Mm-hmm.
scene came back, or many people came back. And I discovered that Quake 1 was still being played. I was like, what the fuck? This is like this 25-year-old game. What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck? And then I started playing it again, and it was fun. And it is the fun. I'm now in Asia for the winter, but when I come back, I'm looking very much forward to playing it again, like Duel and 4 on 4. And there's actually, if you can believe it or not, there's like an annual LAN, like LAN tournament.
Love that.
Still, it's held in Poland every year. And there's another one like bi-annual, which is more serious.
Mm-hmm.
The skill level is insane. I have a hard time
Yeah.
with the skill level. I'm like a Div 2 team player now. Team play is that's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get so good?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure the same is true in Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there are people now who play, who I look at and I go, I've been playing this game on and off for 20 plus years. I've hit my skill cap. I don't think I'm ever gonna get much better. But there's some of these people I look at, I'm like, how I can't fathom how you're that good, and
Hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
reach it. And you know, it is a little disheartening sometimes to go, man, I've sunk a lot of time into this only to hit my peak, you know, and find that there are people who just keep excelling.
Yeah, but isn't it fascinating? Isn't it super fun that people are so good?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this guy in QuakeWorld who really min-maxed out of everything. Milton, he has a YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
if you want to watch. He's like a god. Even the other players, Div 1 players, consider him like a god. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
It
it is.
boggles the mind.
It's
I
amazing
love
to,
it.
yeah, I love it too. I love it too. It is amazing to watch anybody who is supremely good at what they do.
Yeah.
And I think the unifying aspect of always within all of those people is that they always make it look effortless. And it gives you the false sense that you can do the same thing because, well, look how easy it is
Yeah.
for them. Right? Until you
After tens
actually,
of thousands of hours.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly, you know.
And
I
not even then, maybe,
Yeah. And
depending on your.
it is inspiring though. It makes me I was actually telling someone just the other day, I was playing a 2v2 and the teams were not very well balanced. And that's okay. You know, it was just a 2v2, a random 2v2 on some night. I was actually playing against the co-creator of this podcast, DVP. He was up with an American player, and I was with another American player. And they beat us pretty handily on the first map. We beat them on the second one, and then I think they beat us again on the third. But the lesson that I was trying to impart with this, not lesson, the phrase that I was using with this person that I was partnered with was, I don't care that much about winning and losing this game anymore. I just love it. I love the feeling of playing it. I love the mechanics. I love the muscle memory. I love the way my brain fires off neurons and it just feels good to do. And I only ever want to focus on just getting as good as I can regularly, learning a lesson. What can I improve? Okay, get better at that. I made a mistake there. I'm gonna try not to make that mistake again. And that's what I enjoy about this game these days. Is it's a hobby like painting is to me. I'm going to work on just the little tiny details from here on out and try to make it as smooth as I possibly can. Um,
Yeah, but you need to be a little bit of a masochist to do that, no? That's no. I mean, that's the point. I want to say, like in games like Counter-Strike or something where you can get like a lucky shot or something, even as a beginner. That's why those games are more popular than arena shooters, because in arena shooters, you have no chance, like zero or even minus, right, against inexperienced players if you just start out. But I mean, that's to be expected. It's pretty much like tennis, and you expect to win against an experienced player. No, you're not going to score a point. Of course not. But then you have to practice, and then you get the rewards. And that's not. I'm sure the skill level in Counter-Strike is superb, insane, but it's not as unforgiving as arena shooters, I think.
Yeah.
Like you can still get a lucky shot against even a good player and get a lucky headshot just rushing in, and they're like, this goddamn noob killed me. This would never happen in an arena shooter.
Yeah. I think
you can get full control if you know what to do.
There is an element of lockdown that isn't as present in other games for sure.
But completely devastating for beginners, of course.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't have them.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Unfortunately.
I don't know. I can't remember if I told the story or not, but I'll just share it briefly. I had this person, my partner, her family, her brothers and her dad, apparently when they were much younger, they used to play Unreal Tournament. And when I had mentioned casually one time, I was like, oh yeah, there's this game that I played from the 1990s called Unreal Tournament. They're like, oh yeah, we played that game. We're pretty good at it. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm pretty good at the game. I would be curious. Maybe we should try sometime. Flash forward a few months, and I'm trash talking them. I'm like, you guys, I'm sorry, but you don't stand a chance. Like, you just don't stand a chance. I'm sorry. And so comes Christmas time, and we're having a Christmas party at her dad's house, and I bring my computer, and we set up a couple computers, and we have a little miniature LAN party here at her dad's. And I, for a very, very split second, had that fear of like, oh no, what if I trash talked too much and I don't know what I'm walking myself into here? But no, it went exactly as I expected it to go, and I completely wiped the floor with them. And ever since then, it's always been those things like, oh, okay, well, that's Brian's thing. He's got it figured out. So anyway. Well,
there's always an even bigger fish, right?
Yeah, somewhere out there. And then I go and I lose duels constantly, and it is what it is. So that said, we have covered some pretty good ground here. I do want to offer up an opportunity for you to set the record straight on anything that has happened, because as we started this conversation, I think before we hit record, most of North America, I believe, probably knows you more for the UT Bible than they do for the World Cyber Games. And that's
fine.
I think that's because even though America did have representation in the World Cyber Games, a lot of the player base of North America, I think, really started to take hold after the WCG events took place. I don't think that we had quite as strong of a presence here around the time that they were going on. And so because of that, they weren't as aware of you as a player, because you had stopped playing around that point in time, and your name got synonymous with this UT Bible. How do you feel about being known for that rather than being known as a player? Because this is a player's profile podcast, and I am asking you about your time as a player, but for sure there's an element that we need to address here.
No, not at all. I don't care. It's all fine.
Oh, well, that's great.
I mean, I was kind of surprised. So actually, the story is how I found out about this and that Unreal Tournament is still a thing. A German player actually emailed me and shout out to, I forgot the name, I'm sorry. He emailed me, oh, did you know your Unreal Tournament Bible is still being read? And I was like, what? What is that? And then I joined to Discord, and people were very welcoming, and it turns out it's like finding out you're big in Japan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, I like that a lot. But I mean, it's better to be remembered at all, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
No,
Yeah.
as I said, I mean, I'm glad that Gits took over and that he had the career that he had. So I can kind of like stand in his shadow and say, oh, yeah, I've been there all along. Or, no, it
Yeah,
doesn't
sure,
matter,
sure,
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
And nowadays, I'm sure there's other players and skill level must be insane. So
hmm
I'm not, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it wasn't like back in the day, esports was not really what it is today. And of
yeah.
course, Unreal Tournament 99 doesn't really have an esports thing attached to it
hmm
nowadays
hmm
because it's too fucking old. But we were playing for fun.
hmm
So I had a lot of fun. And I had more than just fun. I mean, the people you get to know. And as I said, my roommate was, I got to know through the game. Even the flat was like the grandma of Bretz, like another player of my clan,
hmm
and this kind of thing. And my roommate, I mean, I actually like attended his wedding. He attended my wedding.
That's
This kind of
awesome.
stuff, you know. That's
Yeah.
Unreal Tournament for
Yeah,
me.
that's wonderful. I think that so often we do get lost in the competition and forget the human on the other side, and forget that there is an element of companionship and
Yeah,
bonding.
but that's
And
why you play it in the end, the
yeah, I
people.
agree. Right? Like you need to remember, as much as you are playing the game, you're playing the player as well, and so you're thinking about what they're thinking about, and you're putting yourself in their shoes, and how do they move, what are they going for, what are they not going for, what do they prioritize. And you kind of need to know someone, and so the more time you spend with them, the better you know them, the more competitive your games become, because you have a better sense of who they are. I have always found that to be the case, but maybe I'm full of shit because I'm not that good of a duel player in the first place. I don't know.
Come on,
Uh,
doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you can play competitively. I mean, I'm also a shit dual player in QuakeWorld now. I still enjoy it.
yeah, oh, I still enjoy
Not
it. Yeah.
shit, but I still have
Okay.
ambition, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It
yeah. Same, same.
never goes away.
Yeah.
But against like guys who have played it for 25 years straight or even longer now,
hmm
yeah, it's almost 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You just
Time
don't
is
stand a
ticking.
chance.
Uh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I have taken up about 45, 50 minutes of your time so far. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover, or anybody else that you wanted to shout out? Any memories that you wanted to share, or anybody that you wanted to point to and say, hey, maybe go talk to this person next? Because the floor
Well,
is.
I'm sure you should definitely interview one of the model teamwork guys. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. They were our nemesis. They held us competitive. They were the reason why we were afraid. Like I was afraid of Ullard. He's I don't know if he was very known. MTW Ullard, he
Yeah.
was my nemesis. I
All
was
right.
more afraid of him than of Gits, for sure.
Yeah.
Until Gits took over. I watched Gits play in the later when I wasn't playing anymore.
hmm
Oh, it was insane. It was
Yeah.
already on a different level
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
I've ever played. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not.
For
And
sure.
of course,
Uh,
shout outs to all my former clanmates, for sure.
I do.
Like,
I do wonder if winning at WCG for Gits unlocked something for him to say, oh, maybe there is another level to this, and I'm actually better than I think that I
hmm,
am. And that gave him the
yeah,
confidence to move up to that next level. Uh, because it would seem to correlate with the actual skills that you're seeing reflected in the gameplay, that the next year was even better, substantially
mm,
so. And I think that the second performance is what a lot of people start to look back and reflect on him as a legend as. And so I wonder if there's something to that. Um, well, anyway,
yes.
this is.
You have to ask him
I
actually.
will.
Interview
Hopefully,
him.
I will. But apparently it takes some time to track these people down. Look, you shoot him a message, get him in touch with DVP. That's the way this whole thing works. All right. Well, I do want to say thank you again for lending your hour with me. This has been a blast. Thank you for sharing your memories with me. And if there's anything else that you want to say on the way out, the floor is yours.
Well, happy playing. I'm glad it still exists. I'm super glad the scene is still around. And thanks for the interview.
Yeah. Thanks, man.